Thank you. Good evening. I'd like to welcome everybody to the October 11th River Falls City Council meeting. First thing we'll do is stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, a roll call please, Christy.
Bierstead.
Here.
Bjork.
Here.
Carroll.
Here.
Downing.
Here.
Morset.
Here.
Miller.
Here.
Odie.
Here.
Okay, next we have approval of the minutes from the September 27th meeting.
I so move. Second.
Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Next we have approval of the bills with Mrs. Miller.
I make a motion to approve the bills in the amount of $2,801,381.88, subject to the comptroller.
Second.
First and second. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next public comments. If there's anybody in the audience has anything they'd like to say, now would be the time. Come on up. And as John had said, please state your name and address, and there should be a sign-up sheet up there.
My name is Patricia LaRue, and I live at 49 Marcella Court. 4 weeks from today, the November 2022 elections will be in full swing. I have been an election official for many years, and my purpose here tonight is to hopefully help voters move through the process quickly, avoid confusion, and to make the experience more fulfilling. Number one, know where your voting place is. The boundary lines have changed, and you may not be at the same voting place you were in 2020. It's always hard as a poll worker to have someone wait in line for 20 minutes and then have to tell them they're at the wrong place. We know one of two things will happen. Either the voter will go to their polling place and wait another 20 minutes, or they give up and go home. We don't want that to happen. Know your voting place. Unmailed absentee ballots. If you chose to vote absentee but didn't get your ballot mailed in time, that's okay. Take it to City Hall. If you normally vote at the library, you drive to the library, stand in line, and want to hand your absentee ballot to me, I can't take it. I will tell you, absentee ballots need to go to City Hall. If you are eligible to vote and not registered, you have 4 weeks to do so. In Wisconsin, we have same-day registration, and as a poll worker, we always love new voters who come to register. So if you haven't completed registration by Election Day, come on in, we'll get you registered to vote. But it would work best if you register prior to voting day. In any event, get registered. If you are registered, you may want to check that you are listed on the poll books. Length of time since you last voted, name changes, address changes, particularly if you just moved in October and now it's November to a new address. All of these issues can hold up your ability to vote, and we can avoid the frustration. If you have any doubt or major changes in your information, call City Hall. All of these issues can be addressed in more detail with one phone call between now and November 8th. The number for City Hall election officials is 715-425-1688. Give them a call and they'll help you. We have just a fabulous staff at City Hall who want to help you find the right location with the right document in hand. We have a city council who a couple of years ago made decisions that make voting in River Falls much easier and help bring the lines and wait times down. I don't think I'm overreaching or being melodramatic to say that we have military service women and men who died to ensure that each of us have the right to vote. We can repay their service by doing so. Get registered, know your polling place, come down and vote. We'll get you out the door, and you'll get a sticker to boot. Thank you to the council, and thank you so much for all you do for the community.
Thank you.
Dan, could I just step in real quick? We're really lucky to have Patricia LaRue around, being on the planning commission and the park board and the voting. She's just a real asset to this community. I'm really proud to say that I know her and I can call her a friend. So we're lucky.
Okay. Is there anybody else in the audience has anything like to say? Come on up.
Mr. Mayor, while he's getting set up, and because this piggybacks on Patricia's information, there's you can go to myvote.wi.gov online and pull up all your voter information and make sure that that's accurate. That will tell you who is on the ballot, where you live, and where you should vote, and confirms that you're registered. So I highly recommend that too.
Mr. Mayor, Council, City staff, thank you for the opportunity to come up during public comment. Just a couple things. Talked to a lot of neighbors on Kennedy Street, Sycamore, about the sidewalk that's being proposed. I'm told that that's being pushed off to next year and that the mayor is forcing a bid towards this. I implore you, get out of your car, walk down and knock on doors like you do for elections or you don't do. I've knocked every one of those doors at least 1.5 times before I was elected to city council previously. I know that neighborhood very well. We've had some turnover, but a lot of those people do not want a sidewalk. When I was on council, I pressed for a sidewalk on city staff from South Main down to Sycamore. It gets around that dangerous corner right there. And then, some of the ideas that I've heard from people is having a sidewalk right in the park area right there, and then having some handicap accessible paths up to the different amenities. I think that would solve your problem. The city staff just did a speed survey with a pretty cool radar system. You only had a few that went 48, 42, and 45. The rest of them were at that 30 and below range. I think that shows you awesome data for that neighborhood. Yes, we have some speeding activity through there. Typically, it's when school gets out and you get some high schoolers through there. Most of the time, it's just random people. I would say that we have a wide street through there. If you want to look at sidewalks, look at Wasson Lane. Go down there when there's a soccer event. Both sides of that road is packed with cars. You could barely get a fire truck through there if you had another bigger truck coming through there as well. West Side Elementary, that's been on your list for a long time. I think that's another awesome project that could use a sidewalk. I don't think we need a sidewalk. Many of my neighbors say we don't need a sidewalk. I live on the south side of the road. If you're going to have all those kids from the north side of that neighborhood, you have one strip of houses on the south side of that. All those kids are going to have to cross Kennedy Street. That is a busy now road because of both developments. Now they're crossing them streets at uncontrolled intersections. It's a straight through, right? You're having those kids cross to get to that sidewalk versus crossing at Oak, Spruce, Sycamore, at more of controlled intersections where people literally have to slow down and look both ways before they turn onto Kennedy Street. The other idea that we have is a neighborhood watch. I've been doing that unofficially for a long time. So have other people that lived in that neighborhood for 45 years. The last 10 years, neighbors have said to me directly when I was the councilor for that area that they were concerned. I happened to move into the neighborhood at the other end and noticed some of the activity, heard the complaints from people knocking on doors. Now I moved right across the street from it about 5 years ago, and I get to see it. Unfortunately, we do have a housing authority that lives right across the street from a lot of our neighborhood in a block. I'd say about 95% of the noise and the complaints that I hear come from that neighborhood directly. You go down around Sycamore, they have a lot less. You go into Orange and Spruce, you have a lot less of it. I would say that the housing authority and the police department are very good at being reactive, but we need proactive enforcement in that area. And some examples, housing authority works their 9 to 5, they go home. They don't come out there, right? And I get it's a separate body, but you appoint those members of that body. A couple of you are on that board. I approached the city to start an official neighborhood watch more towards the first of the year with neighbors. That's to organize National Night Out, organize different events to get in front of the community. This isn't Batman. We're not out doing police. This is observe and report, but also educating our neighbors on what to observe, when to report, when not to report. The city went as far as, I got them signs. A couple staff members said it sounded great. Talked to a couple of different people from a different agency that represents Pierce County. They thought it was a great idea, bringing the community together. I got signs to the city. The city went as far in Rocky Branch neighborhood to take down neighborhood watch signs that were put up in 2015. Where's your public safety? Are you not trying to build communities? Or are you trying to tear down the proactive enforcement from our neighborhoods, right? I think it's sick. And, you know, I've made many reports to the city police department or the sheriff's department on DUIs that happen right out front of my house, parked in the driveway, passed out. People doing loud domestics at 2:30 in the afternoon and 4:30 in the morning, right? Very articulable things that you can look at reports and go, yes, these are things that happened. A lot of it did funnel through me because people are afraid to report things. Someone just reported something to Housing Authority about one of their housing neighbors had somebody trying to break into their house, right? Because they're reporting stuff. This is the type of things that people are afraid of. People start reporting stuff and they get food products speared across their front doors. 85-year-old couple had that happen a couple years ago. The other people on the other side of me did too, because we're trying to be a neighborhood. We're trying to report these things. What we need is proactive enforcement. We need cops to get out of their car and walk through the neighborhood after hours. It gets dark. I can tell you, I've got cameras that crisscross the front of my house. You can't see officers regularly come down the 400 block of Kennedy Street, and I hear the same about Griffey unless they're called, okay? It hits motion events every time you cross the street in front of my house. It's a public area, not invading privacy, right? So I've asked for it numerous times. We are organizing a neighborhood watch to educate our neighbors. We're not out enforcing people, it's observe and report only. We would love proactive enforcement from our city and a partnership there. We really would. And I think that's very important. And I think if you all lived where I live and see the different stuff, cops raiding houses across the street, picking people up off the curb, taking their garbage can out because the people are trafficking meth and cocaine, right? This is constantly, you move someone out, people move in, right? You gotta do something about it. It happens across the city, but this is our front door. This is our neighborhood. What next? The people in this drug organization come into the neighborhood and now we got shots fired again in the same neighborhood, which happened 3 years ago from teenagers doing a failed drug deal. You don't live in that neighborhood. You don't see it every day. We do. So I appreciate if you do something proactive. Thank you.
Yeah, anybody else have anything in the audience like to say? No? Okay, we'll move on to, we'll close the council hearing and open up a public hearing on ordinance 2022-13. This is an ordinance creating section 9.24.060, disorderly conduct related to election workers. Is there anybody in the audience that has anything like to say about this? Okay, and this is the first reading. I'll close the public hearing and open up the council hearing. Does anybody have any questions about this? Okay, move on, and we'll close the council hearing and open up a public hearing on ordinance 2022-14. This is an ordinance creating section 9.24.070, residential picketing regulations. There again, this is the first reading. Is there anybody in the audience that has anything like to say about this? Okay, we'll close the public hearing and reopen up the council hearing. And does anybody have any questions on this one? Okay, next move on to the consent agenda. The first one is a resolution approving the 2023 health and dental insurance renewal. Next one is a resolution approving utility and trail easement with River Falls High School District. Next one is a resolution approving purchase of a Bobcat Toolcat. And the next one is a resolution authorizing expenditures of public funds for repair of roads or of roofs to public buildings and affirming the disaster declaration. Does anybody want to pull anything?
Mr. Mayor, I move approval of consent agenda items 4 through 7.
Second.
First and second, questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next we move on and let's see. Next we're going to have administrator's report. Scott has anything for us, or if anybody has anything for Scott?
You have a report in your packet, just a few
dates or announcements related to that. The council earlier tonight set the time of 5:30 p.m. for an October 18th budget workshop number 2. This is not a typical council meeting night. It's a second workshop following up from tonight, and the public is welcome and can be accommodated in the training room for that meeting. November 1 through March 31st is odd even parking. So just remind people, if you have questions about odd even parking, you can get information on rfcity.org, or you can call the police department's non-emergency number. On November 1st at 5 p.m., focus on River Falls number 2, which is a joint plan commission council workshop. So that'll be the second joint workshop we have regarding the city's comprehensive plan, focus on River Falls. October 25th through November 4th is in-person voting in the clerk's office from the time of 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. So it's 8:30. City Hall opens at 8, but in-person voting is available at 8:30 and staff from 8:30 to 5, October 25th to November 4th. So it's another option for those seeking to cast a ballot in this election. And then November 8th is the general election. Polls open 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And the council will note that they've moved their regular council meeting that evening to the following evening. So the council chambers will be used as part of the polling operations. There's a number of library events that people can look at. I also wanted to draw some attention. Library was successful in winning a $17,800 T-Mobile hometown grant. That'll provide additional hotspots to be checked out free to library card holders. So the library can provide even more patrons with access to that online library resources and the internet, even if they're not at the library. There's also a book sale going on starting Monday, October 31st in the main lobby, and that book sale is with suggested donation of 25 cents per item. So come and fill some bags, please, and take those books and put them to good use. Did you have any questions that I could answer, Council?
Nope. Okay, we'll move on to, I have a couple of appointments I'd like to make. I'd like to appoint Liz Bruner to the River Falls Housing Authority through December of 2027. And I'd like to appoint Mark Klecker to the Utility Advisory Board through May of 2025.
I make a motion, we accept the mayor's appointments.
Second.
Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, and Mr. Downing is going to read a proclamation for World Mental Health Day.
Just like to thank our mayor first for the proclamation. And World Mental Health Day is October 10th, 2022. So whereas World Mental Health Day was observed on October 10th, 2022, and whereas the stigma and discrimination continue to be a barrier to social inclusion and access to the right care, and whereas we envision a world in which mental health is valued, promoted, and protected, and whereas everyone has an equal opportunity to enjoy mental health, now therefore, Dan Toland, Mayor of the City of River Falls, do hereby proclaim that the City of River Falls will actively work to improve our awareness of the impact of mental health concerns on our citizens, and will continue to work with community partners to build a network of communication that enhances awareness about preventative mental health interventions such that our community will be a healthier and stronger for future generations. And as a direct care staff, I appreciate this very much, Mayor Tolan. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay,
Move to adjourn. Second.
first and second, all in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we are adjourned. Okay. Hey.